back here with Wii Sports, our 100% journey. I'm going to carry on with another medal. My goal for this episode is to, no matter how agonizing or frustrating or inconsistent or just plain mean the game gets, I'm gonna keep a gentle and composed smile on my face, come at everything with a positive can-do attitude, and let's get this over with. We're doing target practice. I'm understanding you're from far away and you're trying to get a lot of points by landing it as close as possible to the... Why? Oh, it's kind of like the target practice in Monkey Ball, where if you landed on this one that's like much more dangerous, but like part of the way there, then you get way more points. And so we have 10 attempts. Are we all doing all 10 attempts on this same area, but just with different wins and stuff? I wonder. So if I want to get it, probably to get it onto this one, it'd be easiest to use an iron and go for like a 3-ish, which would be something like what I just did. So, oh, that was way too much. It's going in the water. But that one has way more points. Am I right about that? Or so the center of the target on the far one seems to have 100, but the center of this one seems to be 75. Do I read that right? Oh, it doesn't actually have to stay there. It just has to hit that spot. Oh, I didn't. Okay, that's not going to be that bad then. Here I was worrying I had to actually like have it land and roll, and I was like, how is it going to roll and stop on this little platform here? Okay. So So actually, maybe it's easier if it doesn't actually have to land on it. Maybe it's easier to just go for the 2 with the driver, like this kind of thing. Hit the side. All right, I'm really having a bad time hitting a 2 now. All of a sudden, sorry. All right, but the wind is changing each time. There's also that. That's more like a 2. That's kind of what I was going for. That might even hit the center. No, not quite. That's 50. Neat. I'm gonna go for a bit more there because of the headwind. Oh wow, it didn't give a crap about the headwind. It was like, oh, you want 2 and a 0.1? I'll go there. Hit another 50. I think I may have some inclination that I may know what the actual score you're trying to hit here is. But I won't say anything in case I'm totally wrong. And let's just see what this score of like maybe 200 gets us. It's not going to be a single medal, is it? I doubt it. Oh, and the wind gets mighty fierce at this point. Whoa, that was weird the way it did that. That's not what I said to do at all, but it might actually even land on the new... It almost landed on the far one after that. How is that with 75 points, do ya, huh? Nothing. That's what I figured. Okay, so in theory, if you get the actual bullseye on the far one, it's much better than always getting the bullseye on this front one, I suppose. It's just a lot harder. But if it only matters where it lands, then I basically just have to make sure I hit like a 3.5 with the driver here. Let's give that a try. Ugh, that was a bit more. So it curved to the right, but that might still be worth like 50 or something. Oh no. Wow, okay. This probably will be tough. Yeah, I think if I'm going for this front one, actually the iron is better. It's got a little more precision in this kind of area. That might even be a 75 there. No, not quite. Right, so I'll try this a few times, see if I can improve, get at least a medal score, and then I'll look up what the medal scores are. But like I said, I think I know what the platinum score is for this one. Why not? I'll just say it now. I think it's 800 that you have to get. Way 75. If it is 800, that's grim, because even if I got all of them on this 75, that would only be 750. So I hope it is not 800. Oh, I was supposed to go 3 point something, wasn't I? Yep, sorry, I brain farted more like this would do. I also didn't pay attention to the wind at all. I'm doing poorly at this. When I saw the little, like, thumbnail for this one, I didn't realize that it was all gonna be, like, across this huge body of water and, like, at the max range of your driver. That was not clear to me. Alright, so I got 3.5 with the driver. It's as far as a 25 with the wind. I'm at least going to improve my score a bit here, probably. Oh yeah, that wind really acts on you much more than it feels like it's gonna. Even if it was just 750 they wanted you to get, I think I would have trouble getting this bullseye every single time. Especially with the wind changing. Oh, I didn't mean to do that with the driver. I forgot it automatically swaps you back to the driver. Bugger. What was that, 200 points? Is that where the bronze?
You earned a bronze medal.
Yeah, it is! Okay, let's look it up. This one does look like it's gonna be hard, though. At least it's all the same course, so it's just the wind that's changing. Please don't be 800. I really don't want it to be 800. It's 800! Oh, God! So basically what that entails is, oh, God, 2 of the 100s at the far thing, and then 8 75s is probably the easiest way to manage that. So since it doesn't give you basically any wind for the first few, I guess the idea is go the first 2 shots, make them the 100, and then the rest of them try and get that 75. That is going to be really difficult. Especially as the map doesn't really zoom in much, so it's kind of impossible to tell what precisely I'm supposed to do to get the 100 there. Like, it looks like a 3.5 to me, but I don't know how precise it is. Ah, and of course I do. I do the wrong thing after doing the somewhat right thing a few times in a row. Nope, this one's gonna be really hard, actually. I'm gonna have to be wicked consistent. Already, I feel like the platinum medal score is too much for this one. Dude, landing on exactly on the 100? That's crazy. But I did it. Right, that's what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try 100, 100, and then the rest 75, and I'm just gonna reset if I break that pattern. Because every time I would hit 50, I hit 50 instead of 75, it means hitting another 100 to get it back, which is gonna be, it's difficult when there isn't any wind. It's nearly impossible when there is some. Why is it that it seems to do more when I do the actual swing than the practice swing? Am I really changing that much? I don't feel like I am. I know I'm doing it like a baseball bat instead of like a like around the neck like that. I'm actually doing this sort of motion, but it's just easier to do what the motion controls are asking for when you kind of hold it like a baseball bat. Okay, so calmly and in a positive light, I'm gonna get out my grievances about this one now so that I can not have them for the rest of this. This does feel like another one where the precision they're asking for is more than this really allows. To hit 3.5 this many times in a row is difficult to say the least. And for some reason, whenever I do the actual swing, I keep doing more. And I don't feel like I'm doing anything different. Now I will try and be quiet and do it. And it may take an hour, it may take 9 again. Just gonna give it my best go. And one more grievance to politely air is that I'm not allowed to restart until it loads the next hole. So this is just going to take some time. But the good news is I've already hit the 100 and the 75 a few times now, so I know it's possible. Once again, it's not like do this really hard thing. It's do this slightly hard thing, but just do it a lot of times in a row so we know you're good at it. Very lucky it's not asking you to have it roll onto the spot you want, though. You do just have to land it on that. I think that's probably easier than trying to get it to like stop and roll onto the 100. That's about a 3.5 perfect, so if that's on 100, okay, it was almost even a bit too much. The area is very precise. So that's going to be too low, I think. Indeed. Matter of fact, the wind is so light on these first 4 that if I could get hundreds on all of them, it would be, then I could start with 400, and the latter 6, I wouldn't have to get all of them 75. That's probably the best way. The wind is probably light enough that I could eventually consistently get 100 on all first 4. You know, it'll take some doing. And as we found out in the approach shots one, there's also some portion of this that is not just where the power level ends up, but also how much of it is the base swing and how much is follow through. I will say I'm having kind of trouble determining why my follow-through works sometimes and not others. I felt like I held that pose pretty well that last time, but it just stopped dead. In a positive way, I would like to voice my opinion, and it is thus, I opine that this isn't really a game, as much as it is asking you to memorize a certain motion and do it over and over again with an implement that cannot do that. I will not look at the screen, I will just focus on doing the exact same motion each time, and I think you will be able to see that it does not yield the same results each time. And I think I did more or less the same thing each of those times, with maybe a bit of variance of what I would have called 0.2 on this 4-bobble scale we have. But without even looking, I can almost guarantee you that it went anywhere from 2 to 4 on some of those. And that is a thing that troubles me. If, without a target, I cannot make it do the same thing when I do the same thing over and over, how can I be expected to do it with a target? And what's more, at this point, I'm less trying to be like, how can I get good at this golfing sim, and I'm more like, how can I do some little motion that tricks it into doing the same thing each time? And I think that's, if I've gotten to that point, it suggests a failing on the game's part, to me, personally. If my gameplay is no longer, how do I improve at this, but how do I trick this thing into doing what I'm doing? Which is why I'm doing it like this and not like actually doing a full swing, because doing it this way I've had pretty mixed results in getting it to do the same thing each time. In particular because it seems, I didn't have as much problem with the approach shots, but with the driver here, it doesn't seem to always read when I'm holding the pose at the end. Like if I hold the pose here, it's held the pose. If I hold the pose here, it's held the pose. Hold the pose here, doesn't hold the pose. If I hold the pose here, holds the pose. Hold the pose here, doesn't hold the pose. And I don't know what I'm doing differently. And the game is in no mood to tell me. I don't know, but this one's pretty precise too. If I got the first 5 as 100, that's 500, then I have 5 to make 300, which would be 2 75s and 3 50s. So 5 100s, 3 50s, and 2 75s, maybe? I don't know. This is where the wind is also a big problem, because in the normal golfing game, you get a general sense of, okay, I'll be somewhere in this 40 feet to the left of where I'm aiming because of the wind. Whereas in this, that level of precision is deadly. If it's even, because it's, even with no wind, there's a very, very small margin of power that will do it. Like, that's too much to get to the 100. That's about right, but a bit too much to get to the 100. That's too little to get to the 100. I think that's maybe right to get to the 100, so demonstrably that's too little. It'll hit the 25 maybe. And that's too little. It'll maybe hit the 50. So to reach that level of precision if there was no wind the entire time would be a near impossible feat, as far as I'm concerned. To reach it with the wind skewing you an unspecified amount, just some amount based on the miles per hour, because it doesn't obviously give you any guide as to how much wind will skew you, how much in what direction, you just have to feel that out. Pretty damn difficult when I already can't get it to the power level I'm trying to anyway. Even if I were to wager 3.75 would be enough to counteract this headwind on me, I cannot verify that by any means, unless if I were emulating and could save state, basically. Because even if I got to 3.75, the camera angle changes, it's damn near impossible to see how much that would actually impact it, and of course, I didn't even manage anything near 3.75. And the platinum score is it's such a small margin for error that you need to average 8 100s out of 10. Wow. I'm stupefied by this. I don't know about this one. I'm also not fond of the fact that it auto swaps you back to the driver every time. It's gonna make it hard to get into a rhythm. So they're at an 18-mile tailwind, so I was like, maybe that's enough that I only have to do a 2? I have no way of knowing. I could not possibly begin to guess. I just have to trial and error that, which is, of course, very difficult when the wind is random each time. If it were such that, like, you know, hole 3 always had 5 miles this way kind of thing, maybe, but I don't know how I'm supposed to learn it. I'm only an hour into this, but now that I'm seeing what the level of precision that's demanded, I think I might have to just give up on this one. 14 out of 15 platinum medals isn't bad, you know what I mean? But this is just a waste of time. I lost that bright and sparkling optimism pretty fast, huh? Like with some of the other ones, I could foresee a path to getting better, but I don't know about this. I don't know how to learn the wind. I don't know how to learn to get it consistent 3.5 each time for the 100. You know, at the very least, not today. Not today. I'm gonna get a gold medal in this one and just call it. I don't know about the platinum on this one, everyone. I don't think I can do that. Like, I'm not saying I would never get it. I'm saying it would take such a length of time that I at this point in my life, do not possess. I don't have the hours required to just luck out on this one, so I'm just gonna go for a gold and tell you what, this is my 1 gold medal. If there is any other one where I'm like, I have to give up on this, then I have to come back to this one. Our goal for this playthrough is now 14 platinum medals and 1 gold, because this is ridiculous. Of course, that may be subject to change if I can't, if there's another one that's like this hard, but I'm an hour into this one, and I don't see a way forward. So I'm just gonna grab the gold, thanks. It's 600 points for the gold. That's much more manageable. Okay, we got gold. I have to acknowledge my limits here. It was my New Year's resolution to know my limits this year. I'll have you know, so I have to stop. I mean, I got that, but you saw I was like pulling teeth for part of it. Again, I'm not saying it's impossible, but like, you saw how long it took me in the middle for some of those just to get it to do the same thing. I'll probably come back to it someday after this playthrough is done, but I just don't, if I want to be making daily uploads, and I haven't been, largely due to this game, with each episode taking like 6 hours, I have to draw a line in the sand. I don't have the time to wait for it to work. I just ain't that good, I'm sorry. My apologies, as I imagine that's a bit of a disappointment. But for now, that's where this sad episode has to end. Alright, so I gotta catch you up here. It is some days later. I tried again yesterday to record the platinum on this one. I know I gave up last time, but then I was like, I came back to it. I was like, oh, you know, I don't like to leave things unfinished. So I was like, oh no, I'll give it a good another day. I gave it 5.5 hours. Got as far as 750 points. Got super discouraged. Started grumbling. Got all low energy and grouchy. It sucked. And I'm still pretty tired from yesterday, and a little bruised because the strat that I found, I decided was the best one, the best of a bad situation. Because no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to do like the same thing twice when I was just swinging like this. So I was like, what if I brace my arm against the chair and swing it like this? Then eventually, like, I can sort of use the chair as a landmark and make it more or less consistent, as you can see. But slamming my arm into the chair over and over like that has left me more than a little bruised and battered all over. It also involves kneeling by this chair, so my knees are all bruised and my elbows are bruised from leaning on things, and everything just hurts. But I'm not giving up yet. Ow, 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 ow. I need more cushions. This medal will not defeat me, nor I it. We shall come to a mutual and peaceable understanding. If it's the last thing I do, and it might be. And having recorded for so long here, my phone case is starting to get frayed, and it's just a matter of minutes, I'm sure, before it snaps off altogether. Oh, that's much better. So much cushioning. My knees barely feel anything. Alright, okay, so I'm going to try and hush up and do this. I was getting to some amount of consistency with getting hundreds, and I very frequently got not very frequently, but I several times got 400 or 500, and I just needed to get a bunch of like 50s and 75s to round it out, and utterly failed to do so. Oh, right, one more thing I will say is that, oh, sorry, I was using the iron like an idiot. This chair strat to brace my arm does have merit, but it also poses the problem that if I swing when I don't have my thumb on the A button like this, then my muscles are relaxed, so the hand can bend farther. Whereas once I'm holding down for A, it limits my movement. So, because my muscle is flexed, so if I do that and it's a 3.5 and I try and do the same thing holding A, it goes to a 3. Like I'm always doing like consistently lower. So that's why you'll see me, my practice swings, I'm trying to aim a little bit above where I'm actually trying to hit. So that when I do that same motion, it, in theory, will go a little less and be at the right spot, but it's still very awkward and I don't like it. I will try to be more positive, but I still dislike this one, this trial. But I'm not ready to give up on it just yet. I was last night, and the first day we recorded, but not just yet today. I'm already sweating just because it's so bloody hot today. Not a terrible start. I got 6 of them as 100, which means I only needed to average 50 on the other ones. I didn't, but that's pretty good for only 12 minutes in. 6 100s is the ideal because then I just have to hit 50s for the remainder, which is not too difficult usually. But I even got 100 on like the last one there, so I might just carry on with just trying to get 100s because I'm proving somewhat capable of that today. It's probably better for me to do that than just try and mix in the closer target, because then it's a whole new set of rules I gotta swap between. That's just no good. That's it. I'm not very consistent with these 100s, but if I only need to get round 6. The trick was by the end of last night I was super tired, so it was even harder to get it consistent. And it's already hard for me. Look at how I've got these all in a straight line, basically. It's just the power that's been off. Look at it. I've got the angles all right. I mean, just look at how straight a line that is. It's infuriating. But it's a good sign. It means I am pretty close. Coming up just a little short on a lot of these. I mean, getting pretty close. I mean, that's not a bad assortment there. In case I forget to say it by the end, don't be like me. Don't get bruised in service of a stupid video game. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It's like barely a bruise, but I'm just saying don't be dumb like me. Do better things with your time. Make better choices. There should be like a super bullseye worth like 150 or 200 if you get it right in the middle. The smart thing to do would be to like put on a podcast or something so that I can kind of tune out from this. And then it won't stress me out so much. Oh, so close. So close. This is helping though, having a video to listen to. Oh crap. 760. Oh, you can't be serious. I just feel that my skeleton will never be the same after this. Oh, it lagged. That wasn't my fault. Target seriously needs to be just like a meter bigger, honestly. And really the 50 should be a 75. Or there should be like another ring halfway between the 50 and the 100 that's a 75. Please. Are you... I mean, it was so close. Okay. Abundantly clear. I'm sure there are some people whose favorite platinum medal this is, and more power to you. I have like a primal urge to like kick my feet and cry like an infant. It's just like the place this is bringing me. It's just how I'm feeling right now. This is such shite. Come on, I didn't hit it anywhere near that hard. Look at the other ones. You know I didn't. Oh, God. Crumble, crumble, crumble. And now I'm going to try and do that same thing I did last time, heading it over, and it's going to go under. Every single time. I can plan. I know what it's going to do to mess me up. Because it's just always doing the worst thing. Please pause. Oh, banana. Oh, here. Just bent over this seat, having a tantrum about Wii Sports. I can't lift my arm any more than this now. Feels how much I've been leaning on it. Ugh. Thank God. I think that's it. Wasn't an amazing end to that, but it was a pretty solid start. So we got it. Yeah, that was just miserable. It requires so much precision that you don't have. The target's too small. The winds are random each time, so if you get one of the ones that's a headwind of like 30, it means you have to hit a perfect forward, otherwise you never get it. Versus like a sideways 30 means you just have to hit the normal power but angle it a bunch, which is so much easier. So it's randomly way easier. The precision sucks, I already mentioned that. Yeah, you can't restart quickly enough. You should be able to restart the second you hit the ball, but it disables pausing just for that and only for that. I was saying last day that I get how maybe if it's still calculating the physics or something, it wouldn't let you pause because that would mess stuff up, but there should be a way to just hit one to restart the whole thing in that case or something. That was just sad. But I managed to record this before I actually got to editing day one, so I'll be able to wrap this all up into one neat little episode of getting the platinum. So I'll defer back to my older self for the outro in a minute here, but first let me just say a special thanks to Storpy and It's Better Than Wolves playthrough, which is what I had on in my ears here, keeping me barely sane. He's a lovely YouTuber, you should go watch him if you haven't. I'm relieved it's over. I'm annoyed a bit that I didn't have the self-control to just say screw it, this is not a good use of my time, and that's good. Overall that was what? So it was an hour and a half the first day, 5.5 hours the next day, which is altogether 7 hours, plus 3.5 today, so 10.5 hours, our longest platinum yet. And oh boy, yeah, not for me. Anyway, back to my older self for the outro. That's all for now. Next video on the channel is going to be some more Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, and that is all from me. Thank you so very much for coming around. Hopefully I'll see you around. Admiral's going to be out of here now. Peace! Around, stop with the strafing and just run, please, Pits.
Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. Pardon me and excuse me and forgive me for my curtness, but I must be off now. A bounce pad, a bounce pad, a bounce pad. I got shot into the bounce pad. Oh, this laser thing is not leaving me alone.